Zani, Augusta, and Iuno. These three characters have something very interesting in common. They have been able to generate a ton of hype while doing almost nothing. Seriously, and we've all seen it. It's becoming a trend in Wuthering Waves, dropping a character with barely any screen time or backstory, and yet the whole community can't stop talking about them. Now sure, there have been hype around characters of other games too, but characters blow up because of their lore or major role in the story, but in Wuthering Waves it is different. These characters aren't necessarily important to the plot, at least not yet, but people talk about them anyway, not because of who they are, but because they just exist. And right now, the spotlight is on Augusta and Iuno. So here's the question I want to explore. How does Wuthering Waves pull this off? How do they make the characters feel iconic with so little actual content? That's what we're breaking down in this video. So if you enjoyed this kind of deep dive, hit the like button and drop a comment. What do you think the secret is? And of course, subscribe and notification so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. But before we dive into the video, tell me, have you ever, unlike our rover here, struggled to gather your favorite wife? Have they somehow sleep just out of reach? Well, breathe easy because this video is sponsored by Top Up Life. Top Up Life helps you get the resources you need in your favorite gacha games and at a discount. Whether it's currency, characters, weapons, you name it, they've got you covered, all at lower prices than you would pay in-game. Whether it's a guaranteed Frelovo or a guaranteed Rochia, or maybe you're chasing resources for Augusta and Iuno, whatever it is, Top Up Life makes it more affordable. And the best part is, if you use the code TIVE, that is TIVE, you get an extra 12% off, on top of the already discounted rates. So big thanks to Top Up Life for sponsoring this video, and let's get into it. Now, to really understand why characters like Zani, Augusta, and Iuno work, we have to look at how Wuthering Waves position them. Because it's not just random hype, it is calculated, it is intentional. And they do two very smart things to make sure these characters stand out and connect with players. The first, their outfits. Because Wuthering Waves does two really smart things with the outfits these characters wear. And that plays a big role in how much they stand out. Now, the first thing kind of works both for and against the game. And that is how characters' outfits leave an expression, not just on the characters themselves, but on the world around them. Take Augusta for example. It doesn't matter where you see her or in what context, her outfit speaks. You immediately get the sense that this woman is powerful, and I honestly wouldn't blame you for thinking that she was a god, because her design is loaded with symbolism. How it feels like she's always dressed to go to battle, that massive sun detail on her head, the regal posture, everything about her screams authority. And the best part is that it fits her perfectly. The game tells her that Augusta is a warrior, that she won all the great Aegons and fought her way to the top. But let's be real, we already knew that the second we saw her. Her look says it all. The accessories, the weapon, the way she stands. She looks like someone who's earned her place. Zani is another great example. In a world where everyone is dressed in dramatic fantasy-inspired outfits, here comes a woman in a simple office wear, and somehow that makes her stand out even more. Just by looking at these two characters, you get a sense of who they are and how they carry themselves, simply from what they wear. Their outfits don't just look good, they work for the character, their personality, and even the world they inhabit. But on the flip side, that's where someone like Cantarella comes in. Now don't get me wrong, Cantarella is a beautifully written character. I love everything about her. Honestly, she might even be one of my favorite characters in the entire Renesita arc. But here's the thing. Her outfits doesn't really match who she is or the world around her. The idea behind her design is clear. She's meant to be a sexualized character. And look, that is not a problem. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a character like Cantarella who leans into that. But then you play her story, and what you find out is somebody completely different. You expect a classic femme fatale, maybe even a manipulative or mysterious type. But what you get is a proper lady of a house in Reguna, a woman who is deeply maternal, nurturing, and incredibly selfless. She is kind, she is protective, she literally puts herself in danger just to shield others. Even in how she speaks and carries herself, she feels more like a mother than a seductress. And that disconnects, that's where the confusion starts. Because in this case, the outfit doesn't support or enhance who the character really is. It doesn't reflect her role or emotional impact on the world around her. It's one of those rare moments in Wuthering Waves where the visual impression just doesn't line up with the writing. Now, the second cool thing Kuro does with outfit design is something I don't see often in gacha games. Usually, we can tell what a character does, or even what elements they're tied to, just by looking at their clothes. Characters who wear red, probably fire, purple, likely electricity. It's a visual shorthand most games stick to. But Wuthering Waves flips that completely. Yes, there are some characters where the color matches the elements, like Chang Liao, whose purple scheme lines up with Electro, or Jinshi with a gold and white aesthetic that pairs nicely with Spectro. But then you see someone like Shorekeeper. Her entire color scheme is blue head to toe, so naturally you think she's Glacial, right? Ice powers, maybe even some freezing mechanics, but no, she's Spectro too. And at first, that kind of thing was confusing. You see a visual cue, you build expectations, and then the game throws you a curveball. But over time, that confusion turned into excitement. Because as we kept playing, we realized more and more characters broke that pattern. And suddenly, it became a fun little game. Every time a new character dropped, we'd all start guessing their elements based purely on how they look. And more often than not, we were completely wrong. And this brings us back to Augusta. Cause you see, anyone, literally anyone who sees Augusta, whether they play Wuthering Waves or not, would instantly assume that she's a fire user. That wouldn't just be your first thought, that would be your only thought. I mean, come on. Everything about her screams fire. Her outfit may be gold and white, but her hair is bright red. Her overall color palette is saturated with red tones. Her artwork flames all over her. A massive dragon looming behind her back. Classic fire symbolisms. Everything points to heat, destruction, and raw power. So imagine the curveball Wuthering Waves through when he told her that she wasn't fire at all, but she's electro. And that twist, that was fun. It subverted expectations in a way that felt intentional, not random. It challenged how we interpret character design, because we're so used to visual cues telling us exactly what a character does. But Kuro says, nah, let's play with that. But more than that, it adds depth. Think about it. Characters tied to fire are usually linked with rage, passion, or wrath. So when you build a character that looks like a fire user, you expect someone fierce, explosive, maybe even hot-headed. But if that same character turns out to be electro instead, it makes you reassess everything. It opens the door to new interpretations. Maybe she's precise, maybe she's sharp, maybe she's calculating and disciplined, still powerful, but not in the way you expected. It creates a richer, more surprising character, and if written well, that mismatch between appearance and elements becomes a tool for storytelling, not just style. It's one of the coolest things Wuthering Waves does with its design language, and honestly, I hope they never stop doing it. But of everything, I think the most interesting thing about Augusta and Iuno right now is a way that Wuthering Waves has adapted to promote its characters. Something kind of funny, but also really clever. They leak their own characters, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. Because let's be real, in the gacha space, leaks are inevitable. It doesn't matter how tight your security is, how locked down your development servers are, if the community wants that information badly enough, it will be leaked. Characters, weapons, kits, even entire regions. If it exists somewhere in your build, somebody will find it. By now, most gacha companies either understand that or they will soon enough. And Wuthering Waves is no exception. Every major character since version 1 has been leaked, one way or another. But then something changed. Something really interesting happened with one specific character. I'm talking about Kartathea. One day out of the blue, Geoff Keighley, the guy who holds the Game Awards, randomly dropped a video on social media showing off a leaked version of Kartathea. It showed her basic attacks, her skill, her ult, the whole thing. And two things instantly became clear. One, Kartathea is awesome, and two, people love leaks. Whether they admit it or not, no matter how much they complain or try to avoid spoilers, the numbers don't lie. That video exploded with likes and views. Everyone was watching, everyone was talking. And in that moment, we realized this wasn't a leak, not in the usual sense. This was intentional. This was Kuro taking control of the conversation and beating the leakers at their own game. They leaked their own characters, and by doing that, they made a statement. What Kuro basically told every leaker out there was this: if you're going to leak our characters and spoil our work, fine, we'll just do it first. But here's the twist. They're not just leaking content early, they're controlling the conversation. They're deciding what gets leaked, how it gets shown, and when it drops. That way, the hype builds up on their terms. And they do that in a way that makes the community fall in love with the characters before they even say a single word in the story. It is brilliant. They frame the leaks to spark buzz, curiosity, and excitement. Not random data mined info that spoils surprises, but curated previews that showcase what they want us to see. And honestly, it works. Just look at Augusta and Iuno. Wuthering Waves leaked those two themselves, and the moments they did, the entire community lit up. Content creators jumped on it, fans started analyzing their animations, guessing their kits, obsessing over their designs. People who didn't care about Augusta or Iuno before, now they can't stop talking about them. And why? Because the leak invited us to. Because we know it wasn't some shady data grab, it was a move made by the devs. So everyone feels comfortable reacting to it, sharing it, and diving deep into discussion. It turns what's usually a messy and controversial part of the gacha cycle into something fun and engaging. And more than that, it makes these characters matter more. We don't know their backstories, we don't know how relevant they are to the plot, but we do know that thanks to these calculated leaks, they've already made an impact. These characters are being hyped, loved, and appreciated, all with little to no major appearances in the story. And that's not just smart marketing, that is character building done right. And honestly, this speaks to something deeper about Wuthering Waves as a game and Kuro Games as a developer. Because one thing we've come to learn about this studio is that they're not afraid. They're not afraid to step away from the usual gacha traditions, whether that's in their storytelling, their game mechanics, or even how they handle marketing. And honestly, I hope other gacha devs take notes because yes, there are industry standards, there are best practices, but that doesn't mean you can't shake things up. Don't be scared to break the status quo. Don't be scared to build your own path. Because right now, Augusta and Iuno are riding that wave beautifully. They're hyped, they're loved, and I want to see how they fit into the story. What's their presence mean for the world of Wuthering Waves? Because from what we've seen so far, they're absolutely amazing. But now it's your turn. What do you think of Augusta and Iuno? Do you love them? Are you not sold yet? How do you feel about how they've been revealed? Did Kuro nail it, or is there room to improve? Let's talk about it in the comments, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.